Have you ever wondered if the biblical flood really happened or if it's just a legend? In this video, we will explore the historical and scientific evidence behind this fascinating event. Imagine being able to understand the connections between different cultures that mention a great flood, and how these stories intersect with geological and archaeological discoveries. Get ready to uncover surprising accounts and detailed analyses that go beyond the stories you heard in your childhood. In the biblical account, found in the book of Genesis, God decides to purify the world of human wickedness through a great flood. He chooses Noah, a righteous man, and commands him to build an ark to save his family and a pair of each animal species. Noah obeys, and after building the ark, rain falls for 40 days and 40 nights, covering the entire earth and exterminating all life that was not on the ark. After the flood, the waters begin to recede, and the ark finally rests on Mount Ararat. God makes a covenant with Noah, promising never to destroy the earth with a flood again, and places a rainbow in the sky as a symbol of this promise. In Sumerian mythology, the Epic of Gilgamesh contains a very ancient account of a great flood. Utnapishtim, similar to Noah, is warned by the gods of an impending catastrophic flood. He builds a large boat to save his family and various animal species. After the flood, the boat rests on Mount Nisr, and Utnapishtim is rewarded with immortality by the gods. In Norse mythology, there is the legend of Bergelmir. During the event called the First Flood, the frost giants were exterminated by a flood of blood from the body of Ymir, the primordial giant. Bergelmir and his wife survived by floating in a boat made of a sieve and repopulate the world with their descendants. These flood accounts in various cultures indicate a common theme of a great inundation that sweeps over the earth, saving only a select group of people and animals. This convergence of stories may reflect natural catastrophic events that occurred in the past, passed down through generations in different parts of the world. Next, we will discover how geologists search for evidence of large floods in the sedimentary record. Through stratigraphic analysis, geologists study layers of sediments to identify signs of rapid and massive deposition of materials, such as clay, sand, and gravel, which can indicate catastrophic flooding events. In sedimentary structures, they look for specific sedimentary structures, such as rhythmic laminations, crossbedding, and storm deposits, which can suggest deposition conditions related to large volumes of moving water. Using radiometric and paleo-environmental dating. Dating techniques, such as radiocarbon dating, allow geologists to determine the age of sediments and correlate these data with records of climatic changes or known geological events. Specific discoveries. Zanclean flood deposits in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean Sea experienced a catastrophic flood known as the Zanclean Flood about 5.3 million years ago, when the Strait of Gibraltar reopened, allowing Atlantic waters to flood the dry Mediterranean basin. Evidence includes marine-origin sediment layers in areas previously isolated from the sea. Turbidite deposits in the Black Sea. Research in the Black Sea indicates a significant flood around 7,600 years ago, possibly correlated with rising sea levels that resulted in a massive influx of Mediterranean water. This event may be related to flood stories permeating various cultures. The correlation between sedimentary deposits in different locations can help identify events that had a significant global or regional impact. Geologists use computational models to simulate how large volumes of water would have moved and deposited sediments during flooding events, allowing a more precise understanding of the processes involved. These techniques and discoveries provide a solid foundation for identifying and interpreting evidence of large floods in the sedimentary record, offering a window into understanding catastrophic events in Earth's past. In 1997, geologists William Ryan and Walter Pittman proposed the Black Sea flood hypothesis. They suggested that around 7,600 years ago, rising Mediterranean sea levels resulted in a massive influx of saltwater into the Black Sea, which was an isolated freshwater lake. Sedimentary deposits with freshwater fossils overlaid by marine fossils support this hypothesis. Some archaeologists see this as a possible inspiration for flood stories in cultures around the Black Sea. Others are more skeptical, suggesting that the evidence may reflect more gradual climatic changes rather than a single catastrophic event. In the Indus Valley region, particularly in Mohenjo-Daro, there are signs of destruction by flooding. Layers of mud and clay in residential strata indicate multiple floods. Remnants of structures such as dikes and canals suggest attempts at water control, evidencing frequent flooding. Some archaeologists believe these frequent floods led to the decline of the Indus Valley civilization. Others argue that the civilization was well adapted to floods and that the collapse was due to a combination of factors, including climatic changes and tectonic shifts. In places like UR, sedimentary layers suggest catastrophic floods that may correspond to Sumerian and Babylonian accounts of a great flood. Archaeologist Sir Leonard Woolley, in the 1920s, discovered a 2.5-meter layer of sterile mud in UR, which he interpreted as evidence of the flood. Some archaeologists, like Woolley, associate this layer with the epic flood described in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Others believe the layer may reflect a significant regional flood, but not necessarily a global event. They also suggest that the layers may represent multiple flood events at different times. If you want to deepen your understanding of the fascinating facts about the flood and other biblical mysteries discussed in this video, we've provided a valuable resource in the comments that complements the content covered here. Evidence of ancient floods at various archaeological sites around the world suggests that great floods were significant events that influenced the development and history of human civilizations. The interpretation of this evidence varies, with some archaeologists directly associating sedimentary layers with specific mythological or historical events, while others take a more cautious approach, considering multiple factors and events. Climate changes throughout Earth's history have had a significant impact on environmental conditions, leading to catastrophic flood events. Next, we will discuss how these changes may have caused great floods and present different theories and models on how a flood could have occurred. Glacial melt and sea level rise. During the end of the ice ages, the melting of large ice sheets released enormous volumes of freshwater into the oceans, raising sea levels. This increase could have flooded vast coastal areas and low-lying regions. Example: the Zanclean flood, when the Mediterranean basin, which was dry or partially dry, was flooded by the Atlantic about 5.3 million years ago due to sea level rise and the reopening of the Strait of Gibraltar. Climatic oscillations and extreme precipitation. Abrupt climate changes can cause significant shifts in precipitation patterns, resulting in intense and prolonged rainfall leading to floods. Example: during interglacial periods, changes in the hydrological cycle due to global warming increased rainfall, causing massive floods in river basins. Ice dam break events. The collapse of natural ice dams formed by glaciers can rapidly release large volumes of trapped water, causing megafloods. Example: the Missoula floods in western North America, where the periodic breaking of an ice dam at Lake Missoula unleashed water flows that sculpted the channeled Scablands in Washington. Local flood theory and model. This theory suggests that many flood accounts are based on large regional and local floods caused by specific climatic events or natural disasters. Example: the Black Sea flood hypothesis, which proposes that rising Mediterranean sea levels led to the flooding of the Black Sea freshwater lake, creating a regional catastrophe that may have influenced flood accounts. Global flood theory and model. Some theorists believe that catastrophic and rapid climatic changes, such as global glacier melt, could have caused floods on a global scale, giving rise to legends and myths of universal floods. Although evidence for a simultaneous global flood is limited, significant regional events occurring in various parts of the world could have been collectively interpreted as a global event. Catastrophic volcanism theory and model. Massive volcanic eruptions can cause sudden glacial melt or abrupt climate changes, resulting in large floods. Example: the eruption of Mount Toba about 74,000 years ago triggered a volcanic winter and severe climate changes, potentially leading to floods associated with subsequent glacial melt. Past climate changes, driven by a combination of natural factors, were capable of generating significant flood events that left marks in the geological record and inspired cultural accounts of great floods. While theories vary between local, regional, and global floods, they all point to the crucial role of climate changes and catastrophic natural events in shaping geological and human history. These theories help contextualize flood accounts, providing a broader understanding of the natural processes that shaped the planet. So, is the flood a legend or reality? While we don't have a definitive answer, we explored evidence that allows us to reflect on this ancient mystery with a more critical and informed perspective. If you enjoyed this video about the flood and all the fascinating connections between science and mythology, don't forget to share your opinions in the comments. We want to know what you think. Do you believe the accounts of great floods have a real basis? What other historical and scientific mysteries would you like to see here? Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. We have much more amazing content coming your way, exploring historical mysteries, scientific discoveries, and the incredible stories that shaped the world.